We are live. This is the NBA Rundown. The channel is Nuke the House. My co-host is Tyler Hicks. Disappointing evening last night, Tyler. And we only have 2 games today, so I'm going to force you to talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is we were wrong on the Bucks and the Pacers. And it got me to thinking, because Robert, who hopefully will join us in the chat here real soon, messaged me and he said the Bucks aren't very good. And I was going back and forth trying to think, are the Bucks not that good? Or is this just a terrible matchup for them? And I feel like we see this more in football than in basketball. But you know, some teams just match up terribly. And we talk about this, especially in the playoffs. Like I remember 3 years ago before they figured it out, right? Miami was a terrible matchup for Milwaukee. And it was for different reasons. I think that Miami's defense was so good, and they were able to effectively get the ball out of Giannis's hands and turn him into a jump shooter. Right now, I think Indiana's pace is so fast that Milwaukee gets lulled into playing their style of play, and they're not as good. And then also, this is the one matchup where they really miss Jrue Holiday because their ineffectiveness to stop the point of attack just meant that Indiana was getting quality looks in the half court almost every time because Tyrese was able to set up the plays exactly how he wanted. What did you think, Tyler? I don't think Milwaukee's as bad as they looked last night. I just think the Pacers are a terrible matchup for them.
Yeah, I think it's a bad matchup. The pace, I think, is a problem. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and break down a loss for 10 minutes, but I'll tell you that much. That's about all I got on it.
Fine. What happened in our Pelicans Timberwolves game?
I couldn't tell you. Didn't watch it. Couldn't tell you.
I chose the Pacers Bucks as the game to watch, and then I flipped to Rockets Nets. We got that one right, Tyler. My only regret is we didn't bet more. It felt like one of the easiest plays on the board, and that one got home. Tyler, did you see the Thunder and the Hawks?
I did not.
So, bro, do you remember how I loved Atlanta yesterday? And I said, you know, it's a schedule spot. We're not betting teams. We're betting the schedule. And Atlanta jumped out to this huge lead, right? I knew it. Thunder came back, and they had a chance to tie the game on the last possession of the game, and they end up winning 138-135, the Hawks do, after being up by over 20 earlier in the game. That shows you why we just couldn't pull the trigger on the Hawks, right? Even though it ended up being, quote-unquote, the right side. It just shows why you can't pull the trigger on that team. A game that we left off the card, Tyler, that I regretted was the Magic plus the points. Although, to be fair, that was really close. But they were, catching 4.5. They end up losing by 3. That was a fun, exciting game, but really showed a lot of the Kings' flaws. They're going to continue to be like a good regular season team, but not much more. Any other NBA that you watched last night that you want to talk about?
Nah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I think we can dive into tonight's games. I don't watch many games when I'm at work, spread.
No, okay. I had the night off, so I was watching most of them. I'm fighting off this cold, which means I'm at home sweating out the NBA, which sometimes I'd rather be at work too, Tyler, and just watch them after I already know what's going on. Oh, the Clippers. Let me give you your props there. Thank God you talked me into that one, huh?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was the easiest bet of the night. All right. Tonight, I don't like this card, Tyler. I don't like it at all. We have 2 games. And if this was last night's slate, I think we'd easily pass on both of them. The first one is the Milwaukee Bucks, who are coming off that loss last night to Indiana. That was a fast-paced game. So I know Clyde doesn't think the basketball's physical yet. However, that had to sap a lot of injury. Unfortunately, San Antonio is just terrible. And it feels like it's going to be a good matchup for Giannis. The total's gone over in 4 of Milwaukee's last 5 games traveling to San Antonio. The total's gone over in 16 of Milwaukee's last 21 road games. However, San Antonio is 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games playing Milwaukee. That makes sense to me. They're catching 10.5. Milwaukee could win this game easily, and San Antonio could cover. Let me pull up my projections real quick, Tyler, and see where I have this game projected at. I have this as an 11-point win for the Bucks, going slightly under, but my totals have been coming in too low so far this season. I don't like this game at all, Tyler. I think that you can find a better way to approach this game because I feel like this is player performance time.
Yeah, I think it's a good player performance double spot. I don't hate Dame 5+ threes and they win here. He shot well against his team. It's a bad matchup. They do not defend well point guards, so he could crush here. I think this line's wrong. I think this line should be way higher. They just played this matchup recently. The line was 17. The game
That was
before
in
that,
Milwaukee, though, wasn't it?
yes, it was in Milwaukee. And the game before that, they were 20-point favorites in Milwaukee. Change of location makes it a 10-point difference.
Well, on rest versus no rest.
I still think I would take the Bucks here minus the 10. And they're frustrated after the loss. I think it's the Bucks or pass for me.
Okay. Well, I don't love it. I can be easily persuaded anyway. If you say you bet it, I will join you. Anything more on this game, Tyler? Do you want to? I mean, this is gonna be a quick show. Do you want to look at props? I mean, how are you feeling here?
I mean, that Damian Lillard 5+ threes and Milwaukee wins a +235 would be a performance double I'd hit.
Giannis props
Let me
tonight.
get to the props. See if I find anything I like. I mean,
Let me ask you this
I'd probably go for
question.
his assists.
With who?
Giannis.
Okay. I want to ask you this question, and it'll segue into our next game. So I was telling you and Meg right after our NFL show that I've been enjoying the little mini drafts on Underdog. So tonight it's only 4 teams to choose from, so there's only 4 people in your little pod, and I had the number 1 pick. So it comes down to 2 men. Do I take Giannis or do I take Jokic? Who would have you chosen?
Probably Giannis in the matchup he's in.
That's what I ended up doing too. But it was tough to pass on Jokic.
Yeah, it's always tough to pass on Jokic.
And I'm asking that to segue into our next game. The Denver Nuggets are -3.5 in Golden State taking on the Warriors. The total is 235. Denver is 5-0 in their last 5 road games. Denver has beaten Golden State 5 straight times. Golden State 9-2 in their last 11 home games. And the total's gone over 4 of the last 5 times Denver has visited Golden State. So we have strong trends for both teams, right? This is sometimes when you hear people using trends to support their selection, you find trends on either side a lot of the time. So keep that in mind. I have this projected as only a 1-point Denver win, and I have the number right on the total of 235. However, my brain doesn't agree with my projections and thinks that Denver is the right side here. Denver laying 3.5 in Golden State. Golden State has been playing better as of late, however. Maybe I'm underestimating them. Maybe I'm overestimating the Nuggets. What do you think?
No, I like the Nuggets here. I mean, Golden State has been playing a little better since they made some changes around their lineup. What they've won 2, 4, 5, 6 of their last 9. They have been playing well, but this Denver team got Aaron Gordon back there at full strength. There's not a single guy on their injury report. Now, Draymond's still out on the Golden State side. Jokic is going to have
Do you think he's coming back?
He'll come back eventually, but Jokic is going to have his way in this game. So I think we take Denver here. They played well on the road. I think they could beat them by 5 to 8 points here. I think it's a Denver spot.
All right. I think we're going to come to an agreement here. 2 road favorites, Tyler, and it seems like you lean towards the favorites in both of them. The total's 235. I have that projected correctly. If I were to make a play, I would jump in on the over just on the strengths of the trends of the way that these 2 teams have played. However, I'd have to look at those numbers because my guess is the games that they went over were probably lower than they are tonight. Denver had typically been slow. So you're getting one of those weird situations, right? It's like when the Hawks play the Bulls. Well, the Hawks have one of the highest tempos in the league. The Bulls have one of the lowest tempos in the league. They usually meet in the middle when they're creating the line. However, we always say it's easier for a fast-paced team to bait or goad a slower-paced team into playing up tempo than it is for a slow-paced team to get a fast-paced team to stop running. So that would be the reason that I like the over there. What do you think is the best bet on the board tonight?
Probably Denver -3.
Do you want to just make that our only play, or do you want to play Milwaukee as well?
No, I think we just play Denver.
Okay, I'll put that in right now. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a short show today, but it's really not much of a slate. Do you have numbers up for tomorrow that you want to look ahead to, or I don't have any numbers for tomorrow?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Is there anything else? NBA, I mean, it's only a 10-minute show, but we don't need to just babble.
Yeah, I don't think we got to try and fill time. I think we could just give them the plays and get out of here.
There's no like NBA thoughts you want to discuss.
Nope.
All right, I got one thing. Right now, I would put Draymond returning to the Warriors at like 50%. They might just be done with him. That's just the feeling I get from, I follow a bunch of Warriors guys on Twitter and then Coach Kerr's recent comments. What do you think? What would he fetch on the open market if they were to trade him?
I don't know. Not a star, maybe a role player.
Yeah, I think so too, because the only teams that would invest in him are teams that are close to being a title contender right away, right?
Yeah.
Like, where would he fit well? We talked about this before, right? Dallas, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, right? Teams that aren't going to give up another star. So Detroit. No, I don't think he would fit in well in Detroit. Do you, Tyler? He didn't try when the Warriors sucked.
No, probably just those three teams that you named.
I got one question in the chat from Clyde, then we'll end this up. Boston. I don't think Boston would need him. Where would he fit? I think that their closing lineup I don't think he would fit in the back five. Do you?
No, I don't think he fits in Boston.
Because who would he usurp in that closing lineup? Porzingis is playing well defensively, so it's not like he's like an exit right there.
Yeah, he's not.
Derek and Holiday are both good defensive players.
He's not playing for them.
Yeah, I don't see Boston getting involved there. Clyde says, "What's Ant's ceiling?" I say top 5 future MVP candidate.
Yeah,
that's say, Tyler.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the sky's the limit for him too. I'd say probably like peak Paul George, right? Where he's an excellent defender. And what Paul George get? Number 3 in MVP?
I believe so, yeah.
He's got a little more dog in him too. So I'd say you're going to have peak Paul George numbers with maybe a little bit more winning. There you have it, Tyler. Any other words for the people before we sign off? We'll be back at tomorrow. We're going to go opposite. We'll go 3 for the NBA rundown, 4 for the NFL. But any words for the people, or is there anything else we should be looking at before we sign off?
Nope. Just tune in tomorrow to the shows. We got more games tomorrow, so the show will be a bit longer. Short slate, short show.
Yeah. Quick show today, but the winner is Nuggets -3.5. Enjoy that money. We'll be back tomorrow. Nuke the house.